not just to reflect on the pain of a nation, not merely to mourn the ruins of Gaza, but to awaken our hearts to a deeper truth, a divine call to return, to realign and to remember. For in every destruction decreed by Allah, there is hidden wisdom. In every war, a whisper of a final reckoning, and in every loss, an invitation to divine closeness. The first and most profound sign that a heart is walking in alignment with Allah's will is the presence of deep, unshakable inner peace, even when the world outside is collapsing. This is not the fragile calm that depends on circumstances or fleeting moments of ease. It is a divine tranquility born from the heart's intimacy with its Creator. Allah declares in the Quran, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. This peace is not passive, it is active submission. A soul anchored in the certainty that nothing happens except by Allah's will and wisdom. When a believer engages in dhikr, remembrance, when they make their sujood long and their tears sincere, a spiritual shelter is built around their heart, impenetrable to the storms of dunya. You will see such peace in the mother who buries her child with Alhamdulillah on her lips. Not because the pain is less, but because the heart is held by Allah. You will witness it in the fasting. Believer who loses their home, but not their hope. This inner peace is the miracle of tawakkul, true reliance on Allah, that transforms every trial into a doorway to divine closeness. It is not a denial of hardship, but a divine response to it. In a world shaken by war, betrayal, and loss, the one who walks with Allah remains still, grounded not in what is seen, but in what is promised. Just as the fire became cool and peaceful for Ibrahim, the trials of this world become a means of nearness for those who place their trust entirely in the one who never abandons his servant. The second sign that a believer is walking in alignment with Allah's will is the presence of unwavering clarity in purpose and firm certainty in the unseen. A clarity not built on logic alone, but illuminated by faith and divine guidance. Allah praises the muttaqim, the God-conscious, in the opening verses of the Quran by saying, those who believe in the unseen, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:3. This is the foundational quality of a true believer, to walk in certainty while the world around them walks in doubt. When a person aligns their heart with the will of Allah, their life no longer feels directionless or chaotic, even when external events seem out of control. They are guided not by circumstances, but by conviction. Their steps are firm, not because they see every detail ahead, but because they trust the one who sees all things. Al-Basir, the all-seeing. Such clarity is not loud or boastful. It is a quiet light within the heart that leads a person toward the pleasure of Allah, even when the path is lonely or difficult. They are no longer distracted by the noise of the dunya, because their ears are tuned to the call of the Hihara. Their decisions are shaped not by the approval of people, but by the fear of displeasing their Rabb. In times of war, oppression, or global confusion, like we witness in Gaza and around the Ummah, this clarity becomes a lifeline. The one who believes in the unseen does not despair when the worldly powers appear dominant, because they know that true victory comes from the heavens, not from numbers or weapons. They remember the verse, how many a small group has overcome a large group by permission of Allah. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:24-9. They walk forward dignity and purpose, even if the world mocks them. Because their compass is not public opinion, but divine instruction. This is the light that shines in the heart of every martyr, every steadfast worshipper, every mother who raises her hands in dua while bombs fall. It is the clarity of one who sees beyond the veil of this world and chooses to live for what cannot be seen but is more real than anything visible. Nearness, the mercy, and the eternal reward of Allah. The third sign of a heart aligned with Allah's will is the quiet, unwavering consistency in worship and obedience. a life devoted to Allah, not for the gaze of others, not for recognition or reward, but purely out of love, sincerity, and the awareness that He is always watching. This is a station of His Son, to worship Allah as though you see Him, and if you cannot see Him, to know that He sees you. When a believer reaches this level, their acts of devotion are no longer reactive or seasonal. They do not pray only in times of difficulty, nor do they abandon their duties in times of ease. Their sujood is not reserved for moments of crisis, and their tears are not dependent on worldly loss. Their faith is not shaken by the silence of people or the noise of trials, because their covenant is with Allah alone. As the Prophet Muhammad said, the most beloved of deeds to Allah are those done consistently, even if they are small. Sahih Bukhari. This hadith is not merely about action, it is about character. It is about the soul that prays Fahijil not because of alarms, but because of longing. The heart that gives sadaqah not because of public campaigns, but because it knows that Allah sees the hand that gives in secret. This level of obedience is deeply personal, profoundly intimate. A believer who continues to read Quran daily, who guards their tongue in private, who lowers their gaze even when no one is watching, who fasts in secret, who weeps in dua at night, and who carries the burden of the ummah in their prayers without ever being seen or celebrated. They are the hidden servants of Allah, the awliya, friends of Allah, whose consistency comes not from reminders or rewards, but from a heart in constant conversation with its Creator. Even when the world falls into heedlessness, even when the ummah is wounded and the earth quakes with injustice, such souls remain constant, like lanterns in the dark, never extinguished by hardship nor seduced by ease. In places like Gaza, we see such believers every day, those who pray in the rebel, fast with empty stomachs, and whisper La ilaha illallah while their lives are taken. Their consistency is a proof of their love, and their obedience is their offering. It is through such souls that Allah brings mercy to the earth and victory to the oppressed. They are the ones whose worship does not end with Ramadan, nor with convenience, because for them, Allah is not seasonal. He is everything. The fourth and perhaps most beautiful sign of a heart aligned with Allah's will is that the believer begins to love the presence of Allah more than the pleasures of this world. A transformation so profound that nothing worldly, no matter how glittering, can compare to a moment of divine closeness. This love is not merely theoretical. It grows from within, consuming the heart gently until the believer finds no rest except in the remembrance of Allah, no sweetness except in his worship, and no desire except to be near Him. The temporary delights of the dunya, food, fame, wealth, comfort, applause, begin to feel hollow, meaningless, even heavy on the soul, while the acts that connect one to Allah, salah, dhikr, Quran, fasting, dua, begin to taste like honey to the heart. This is not asceticism, but a shift in priority. The heart begins to see clearly. The hereafter is better and more lasting. Surah Al-Alaq 87:17. The believer no longer chases after worldly success like the masses do, because they have tasted something greater. The tranquility of a soul in sujud, the tears that fall when no one sees, the whisper of Allah's nearness in the depths of the night. As this love grows, sin becomes painful and obedience becomes beloved.